to the Innovation Best Practices episodes, where I try to make every episode one that can help you sell more and make more through innovation. I try to make these episodes have practical and proven information that I believe can help virtually any business with any innovation need. I want to give a special shout out to our listeners in 80 countries. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most interesting forms of innovation, which is Google moonshots. Now, that's kind of the name that the press has given to them, but they're swing for the fences sort of ideas. I think you may find this one of the most interesting episodes we've had. Okay. As you probably know, we have both videocasts and podcasts. Both have the same audio track. Videocasts have a PowerPoint presentation with it along with visuals. You can see the videocast by just going to YouTube and in the search bar putting Richard Innovation Best Practices in the search bar. Search results come up. We're somewhere down the list. Click on it and you'll see all of the currently available videocasts. The podcast, as always, can be seen on my website, i2ge, that's the number 2ge.com/podcast, or go to iTunes and search for Innovation Best Practices. If you're there watching it on iTunes, and listening to it on iTunes, I'd love it if you give us a 5-star rating and review. It helps more people learn about it. We also have free apps, Innovation Best Practices app for the iPhone and iPad, as well as Android devices at the App Store and at Google Play. If you want to contact me, just send me an email. I love hearing from listeners at richard@i2ge.com. Okay, we're going to be talking about their moonshots, and these are their really big ideas that make the world a better place. Wow, remember if you're a listener of this, you may remember my episode on noble purpose. And this is really a lot about a lot of noble purpose. So let's get into it. Okay. Here's an overview. Usually the innovation portfolio recommendations that we recommend to companies, we ask them to consider having 3 portfolio components. First, evolutionary innovation, which is line extension innovation, new and improved sort of things. Second are brand extensions that will take a known brand and expand it into new types of business. And then there are entirely new categories of products with disruptive innovations. And it's this third category that, generally speaking, is about 10 to 20% of the total innovation effort that we're talking about for the Google moonshots. And Google, in many ways, has been the premier example of how to have what many people believe is the ideal innovation portfolio. This episode focuses on 9 major new categories, moonshots in other terms, currently in Google's innovation program. Key points come from a Fast Company article. The first one is the quest to conquer death. Now, there is noble purpose. I'm not sure they'll ever conquer death, but maybe delay it. Calico is a joint venture with Art Levinson, the former CEO of Genentech, a very, very successful company. Certainly was one of the great stars in its field back in some earlier days. And the goal of this effort is to extend the human lifespan. It's a collaborative effort with Harvard and MIT focused on cancer and heart disease, the 2 biggies, if you will. We'll see in a later one of these moonshots, in fact, the last one, the 9th one, that they have efforts with their Google cars to deal with the other big cause of death, which is car accidents. So, major effort here to extend the lifespan of humans. The second one is drones that save lives. Now, drones are all the rage, but this is something they're doing very special. In Australia, they've been testing large drones with 4 propellers and a 5-foot wingspan. Project Wing, as they call it, is exploring ways that emergency supplies can be delivered far more quickly and safely to disaster areas like earthquakes and floods. When earthquakes or floods or natural disasters happen, getting emergency supplies in there when roads have been wiped out, airports have down, all that sort of stuff is one of the most important things that can be done to save lives. And so they've got these major drone development projects going on to be able to carry emergency supplies into disaster hit areas. Great, great, great project. Third one is grease-powered streetcars. What they're doing here is exploring ways to use biodiesel, and that's not entirely new, derived from frying oil, like those used to cook French fries, to power ultra-light rail cars. This is as best I understand, a relatively new application of biodiesel. So that's a very, very important way of getting out of the carbon business, if you will, carbon fuel business in that area. And I just kind of note here that while McDonald's is not an official or even unofficial partner of this is all my making up, they would seem to be a good natural resource for this. Okay. Next is flying windmills. There's a Google X company called Makani Power, M-A-K-A-N-I, Power, and it's developing energy kites. Now, if you're listening to this via a video cast, you'll see a visual of what one of those kites looks like. These kites are airborne wind turbines flying in circles that produce power that's sent down to the ground via a tethered cable. Wow, the imagination that goes into that and making it work is absolutely amazing. So we've got solar power, we've got wind power, which is being deployed both on land and at sea, and we now have kite power. Very, very interesting. The next one is a snap-together smartphone. This is called Project ARA, A-R-A, and is envisioned to let consumers assemble a smartphone out of magnetic tiles. The tiles contain chips and sensors. It's a way of creating a smartphone that has only the components and capabilities needed. So I think I'll take component 3, 4, and 7, and that's what I want for a smartphone. I find this interesting. I think it can maybe be more useful in countries like India and China where cost is a bit of a factor, but it's a very interesting way of bringing discontinuity in potentially a very positive way to the smartphone business. Very interesting. Next is music that really makes you smarter. Google is in a joint venture with the LA Philharmonic. They're working with musical instruments designed by Batonix, B-A-T-O-N-I-X. The instruments generate frequencies that stimulate the cerebral cortex in your brain and increase IQ. Wow, I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. Now, there's a lot of research that's been done with classical music about it making you smarter and making very positive contributions to your life. So there's a good basis for the innovation that they're doing in this area. The next one is a health-minded contact lenses. Google X is working with former University of Washington researchers. The goal is to develop contact lenses that include circuitry, sensors, and LED indicators. The focus is on helping diabetics be more aware of their glucose levels throughout the day. Wow, this is interesting and cool. Another big health area that Google's taking on that is very challenging for those people with diabetes, and a way of taking it a big step forward to improving your health even when you have diabetes. Okay. This next one is I'm going to be interested to see where this whole field goes, but this is your own private IKEA. Alphabet, which is the new parent company of the various Google-related companies, is exploring a big step into 3D printing. And when I say big, I mean big. They're looking at a 3D printer, about the size of a refrigerator that can produce furniture. I think this whole 3D printing is in its infancy, and I'm not quite sure where it's going and if it has longevity to it. I'm not anywhere near smart enough to know that. I'm intrigued by all this stuff. Okay, so a huge 3D printer. The initial goal is to produce a coffee table with recycled polyurethane in less than 24 hours. You too can have a refrigerator-sized 3D printer that can print out a coffee table for you. Not sure how many coffee tables you need, so I'm not sure this becomes a personal item. But again, what do I know? The next one and the last one is cars that know the road. And this is probably of the Google things that you may probably know quite a bit about. And they're driverless cars. They're not the only folks working on this. I mean, Tesla is deep into this, as well as others. There's already testing using cameras, lasers, radar, and very sophisticated software to navigate roads. There was recently a 60 Minutes program on this kind of innovation. The goal here is to dramatically reduce the 1.2 million deaths worldwide caused by auto accidents. The early evidence with these cars is that they have no accidents except for ones that are caused by other drivers. So the early results are promising. They clearly have a long way to go, but all of a sudden the Insurance Institute and regulators seem to have turned the corner and are taking more of a positive interest in this initiative. It'll be very interesting to see where this goes. So here's some concluding thoughts. I absolutely love what Google is doing. They're using their financial and human capital to take on truly big humanity needs. Many of these fall into the category of noble purpose, serving a society, a cultural, a international, a worldwide need. I absolutely love it. And if I were a betting person, and I'm not, I would not bet against them being successful in the majority of these moonshots, and that's very encouraging. So, there you have it, the 9 moonshots that Google is currently working on to make the world a better place. This is in that swing for the fences, new categories sort of part of the innovation portfolio. Very exciting, and a great example of innovation best practices. If you'd like to know more about innovation best practices, we have some ways to help you. You can go to my website, i2ge.com, the number 2ge.com, and on the menu bar, you'll see DIY innovation training, do-it-yourself innovation training. Click on it. You'll see a whole bunch of training programs. If there's not a training program there that meets your specific needs, just contact me. We'll develop a tailored one for you. Here's the purpose of all this. I want to make you innovation self-sufficient. I want to make it so that you don't have to hire expensive consultants like me and others to do it for you. I've published 6 books. One of them is Proven Practical Innovation That Delivers Results. That's what the book is about. It's available only at Amazon in paperback and as Kindle book. It's value priced below my break-even cost. So it's a great value. And again, if you have suggestions, comments, or requests, just send me an email at richard@i2ge.com. I love hearing from folks. And in the next episode, having taken a look at innovation at Google, we're going to take a look at innovation at Facebook. And they go at this in a significantly different way, but equally interesting and provocative. These are really big ideas. Now, 100% of what I'm going to share with you in this episode are focused on building and expanding the Facebook core competencies and focused on their core business. So make sure that you tune in for this one because you're going to hear some really big ideas going on at Facebook. And I'll give you my commentary on it also. And as all of you know, I deeply appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. I look forward to reconnecting with you soon, and until then, please have a great day.